Ladies and gentlemen, you want me, girl? Giving out the key to the madness. You want me, girl? Jazzy Fizzle Production. You want me, girl? We should do the thing. We should do the thing. We should do the thing.
She like me, I kinda dig it, so I did my thing for her. She joining with me, now we getting groovy, hotter than jacuzzi. So shawty, won't you slow it down? I see them other fellas, and they hate 'em. They try to do it like me, it ain't the same. Front to back, shawty, side to side, and lean with you with a soldier now. She's so fly, girl. She come to my crib, yeah. But he gon' flip on you. I know I'm tripping, but you should be my girl. You should be my girl.
Hey, it's your girl Nay coming to you with another episode of As Told by Nay the podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's talk about it. Hey guys, happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a great day thus far. I'm tired, but it's cool because I'm here and we're about to get this thing going. We have a pretty intense conversation lined up for you today. As I've been saying all month long, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I hope everyone has been taking care of themselves, not only this month, but every day, every month. It's very, very important that we're doing the best we can for ourselves, checking on our mental health, checking on our friends, and making sure that we're staying in like this. I love to see those smiles. I love to know that you guys are well. I want to give a disclaimer because, I like to joke and I like to play and I like to have a good time on As Told by Nay. But every now and then we take a moment to really get into some serious stuff. And so that's what I'm going to do today. It's a very sensitive topic. We're going to be talking about mental health for sure, giving you guys some background and some knowledge on some things that you may not be aware is happening. I want to, in this moment, just make sure that everyone feels safe, aware, know the signs. I'm going to say that. And we're going to definitely get into it. I have my beautiful friend, Sommer, here to have this conversation with me. I'm so proud of her for being enough to have this dialogue with me as we bring some awareness to my listeners. And we're gonna really dissect some stuff today. We're gonna get into some stuff today. Hey, Sommer.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Good. You look good.
Hey, boo friend.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you, my love.
Okay. All seriousness, that's a bit of a feedback. Can you hear that? You hear that?
Do you sound what?
I sound regular.
Yes.
Okay.
You hear feedback?
A little bit. A little bit. I don't know.
Let me turn you down. Hold on. Better?
Yes. So, no, there's an echo or something. It's throwing me off.
I don't know how to fix that.
Click out and then click back in.
How do I do that? Click out and then click back in, like leave and then come back in?
Yes, please. And while she's doing that, let me just go ahead and say this piece. If I had to give tonight's conversation a title, I would call it, Excuse Me, Have We Met? And we're going to talk a little bit about people presenting one way and then turning into a whole nother situation and what that looks like. Definitely on the side of relationships, but the mental effect that comes from mental and emotional abuse in relationships. And this can happen across the board with friendships, intimate partners within your family. Hey guys, I need you to know the signs. I need you to recognize the red flags when these things are happening, because it's a real thing. You know, when people think of abusive relationships, they think of the physical piece, right? The fighting, the arguing, and, you know, laying hands. It's not always that way. Sometimes it comes across as an attack to your mental state, your emotions, your self-esteem. All of those things can be attacked when you're in blah, 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 emotionally abusive or mentally abusive relationship. And that is what we're dissecting today, because it's a real thing. So again, I'm going to bring Summer on so that we can go ahead and jump into this dialogue. All
Hi.
right.
Are you still hearing the feedback?
No.
Okay, good.
All right. So normally when I do this, I have like these excuse me, come again questions, and it's more so just to kind of break the ice and get you in the vibe of the podcast. But I want to dive right into this because we're going to unload a lot. Are you comfortable?
Okay. Yes, I'm comfortable right now. Yes.
We don't even need this excuse me, come again. We're going to get right into it.
Okay.
Again, I titled this "Excuse Me, Have We Met?" Because most times when you enter into an abusive relationship, the signs are not so clear in the beginning. You think that
Right.
there's this great, solid, secure situation, and then over time, as they become comfortable, you know, a whole nother side is unleashed, and a whole nother feeling, and you enter into a whole nother relationship with a whole nother person, and you're like,
Excuse me. Who are you?
who are you? Have we? So we're gonna get into that. So first things first, I want you to I know I said your name, but kind of, let the people know who you are, maybe a little bit about you. It doesn't have to be, all professional stuff, but just who are you?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Summer. I am one of what I consider name my sister. She's known me for all of 12 years, 12 years.
Yes.
11 years of friendship. And I'm a single mom. That is the first thing I tell everyone when they meet me. I'm a proud mom of one, only one. That's all. That's one and done. I am a professional. I consider myself to be a professional, and I hold my profession in a very high regard. And so I am very excited today to really share, my story with you guys. As Nay stated, I'm sure she already gave you the caveat. I'm not in this today to slander or to blame or anything like that. Today is just truly just to tell my truth. Nay was kind enough. I was able to share my story with her. And when she heard the story, she reached out to me and she said, "Wow, it's powerful. Do you mind if you come on my podcast as a guest to share it with the world?" And so I definitely wanted to be a part of this. I definitely think abuse is not okay. It's never okay. I think with physical abuse, it's like in your face. It's very like, hey, very apparent when you are abused physically, but when you are emotionally abused, I think a lot of the time, especially in the Black community, sometimes that's dismissed as, it's just in your head. You need to pray about it. You need to get over it. And a lot of the times we don't take that seriously when it comes to mental health. So I definitely wanted to share my story today with everyone and kind of bring an awareness to it. And just so you're aware of the signs, you don't have to change your situation. I am not a licensed clinician at all, not even a little bit. So I'm not here to diagnose and anything like that. I'm just here to share what I learned and what helped me get through my situation. And I hope that it will truly inspire whomever is in the similar situation, for sure.
Right. And I just want to second that, like, whenever I bring my guest on, it's never to slander. It's never to talk down on. My show is definitely about awareness, bringing forth that understanding, shedding light on things that maybe people aren't talking about, but I'm willing to go there. So let's talk about it. That's my little slogan, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Whatever it is, let's talk about it. So perfect introduction. Thank you for that. And we're going to get right into it. So In regards to this, although there are many different ways that you can be mentally and emotionally abused, we're going to hone in on some characteristics of one thing in particular, and that is narcissistic behaviors, because we see that a lot in relationships. And this goes across the board. Men and women possess these traits,
Yes.
and it's not always clear cut in textbook. Sometimes there's a combination of different traits. Sometimes really you can go straight to the DSM and read and be like, this is them. And sometimes it's not as in your face, but here are some red flags. We're definitely going to shed light on that. So when I say that, and I know I just, kind of went into a tangent about how it looks, but for you in your personal situation, like, when you said your story to me, you used that term specifically. And first out of the gate, I just want to ask you, like, what made you want to figure out like what this thing was, to even go and research and find out like, okay, this is narcissistic behavior?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I was in the relationship with someone for a very long time. Out the gate, it was a really, he was very charming, very, he was very affectionate, he offered things that I was looking for at the time. So I jumped head first right on into the relationship. After time went on, something just didn't feel right. Something just didn't feel good anymore. There was a lot of times where I would try to express myself and how I felt, and my feelings were dismissed or invalidated, or he would kind of say, "Oh, no, it's not. That's not really what it is. It's really this, And it got to a point where I started to feel like I couldn't come out of my shell. I couldn't be myself in a sense. I couldn't express myself. And when I started to feel that way, I didn't feel safe anymore in the relationship. So I started to really hone in on that and really think about, is this love, or this doesn't feel like love? What is this? So I started to do a little bit of research, and I saw some of the characteristics that, he was presenting at the time. They were reminiscent of emotional abuse. So I dived into that. I dived into emotional abuse. And that's how I stumbled into the narcissistic abuse and the research with the narcissistic abuse. It was something that I honestly didn't even know anything about narcissism. I never heard of the term. I never knew that was even a thing. I just felt like something wasn't right. And I wanted to understand what I was going through, because it didn't feel warm and fuzzy anymore. And I didn't feel like I could really talk to the person I was with about it, because again, like I said, I was walking on eggshells. So I got to a point where I just wanted to really learn about it. And when I did, it was like mind blown. All of the information.
You said something very important there, that most times in abusive relationships, when you start to feel that change, exactly what you said, it no longer feels safe. And that is like one of the key points of it. Like when you start to feel yourself retracting in your relationship, red flag, big red flag that does not need to be ignored. I think that's something that, let's dive into that. Some of those red flags that come up, and it's just like, whoa. So number one, not feeling safe. Another key point of that is, you were saying he kind of made you to feel as if you were crazy. Like, no, you're wrong. This isn't what it is. Kind of moving past or disregarding, what you know to be true. You know how you feel. You know how things are turning. You know how things are making you to react and to make it, what is it? Gaslighting. It's a term.
Gaslighting. That is the term. Gaslight.
And
term of the day.
People do it all the time. So not to say that everybody that gaslights you is a narcissist, or to feel like everyone that gaslights you is, putting you into an abusive situation. But that is definitely a tactic used in abusive relationships. Sure. So if it happens, it's something to be key of. Let me take a look at this a little closer. Let me feel this out.
Right.
What are some of the other things that you were experiencing experiencing within that relationship that kind of were big red flags, like as we bring awareness to this and signs?
For sure, for sure. So the more subtle things at the beginning that you wouldn't necessarily like pay that much attention to, but are associated with narcissistic abuse is one of the main things is that you want to watch their temperament. Sometimes there's a lot of, are they getting angry about things that maybe they could handle a little differently, a little bit more calmly? Are they recognizing, do they show empathy to if you're most of the time, I think a lot of people don't really know about the fact that when you approach someone and you're expressing how you feel to that person, sometimes, most of the time people are empathetic. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry I even made you feel that way. I apologize, things like that. With the narcissistic abuse, you don't usually get that a lot. So it's a lot of gaslighting was the perfect term. It's like A1. There was a lot of dismissing of feelings. So rolling their eyes while you're talking to them about something that concerns you, walking away while you're in mid-sentence, or interrupting you. You maybe they have expressed themselves and you're now ready to express yourself. That's a form of them invalidating your feelings by walking away, rolling their eyes. You don't. Gaslighting is definitely a key indicator only because there's a level to it. Everyone at one point is going to gaslight someone. It's a natural defense. You're going to know that's not really what it is. Where the level kind of shifts in the narcissistic abuse is that it's always you. There was a lot of you statements. There's a lot of you always do this and you consistently do this. And there's terminology that you can kind of pinpoint in conversation, especially times of conflict, where if they can't recognize or take any accountability in the moment, that might be something you want to think about. Are they really recognizing? Are they empathetic? Do they really understand how I feel? Another key indicator, as time goes on, there might be some character assassination. They may, go to your friends, go to your family, and they may say, this person did this to me, and I need you to know so that you can talk to them. A lot of things like that. And those types of things, you think, maybe that's not that big of a deal. But when you're not doing it, or if it's something that you feel deep down you haven't done and you can't talk about it with the person, it comes off as character assassination. So you want to make sure that you're being aware and cognitive of those things so that you can kind of just, kind of take a step back and be like, is this really something that is love? Is this something that is something that I want to deal with in general?
I have a lot of women that I can't speak today. Emotionally abusive and mentally abusive relationships and situationships, because a lot of times that's what it be. Because hey, that's not something we want to be tied to. And a common understanding of this narcissistic behavior is the way that it makes you feel. Yes. A narcissistic person is going to make their partner feel small. A narcissistic person is going to make their partner feel inferior. A narcissistic person is going to make their partner feel afraid. A narcissistic person wants to be the light, the be all, the glue that holds you together. You cannot be your own individual person because you need them. That is like such key points. So if you start to see that extraness when it comes to the jealousy, if you start to see the extraness when it comes to the talking down at you, if you see the extraness, like Summer was saying, smearing your name, making you to seem like you're not credible, like you have all the character flaws and you're not this good person, but they're this amazing person because they're sticking it out with you and they are here and they're trying to deal with you, want you to be a better person. Hey, if you know that that's not you, but this is the picture that they're painting, 9 times out of 10, your partner is definitely a narcissist. And you are in an emotionally and mentally abusive relationship, because what happens is you start to believe that stuff. You
Yes.
start to become afraid. You start to feel like you can't truly be yourself because what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing is off. I have to be setting this person into this because, number one, they weren't like this when I met them. This is a completely different person. So he had to turn into this because of me. It becomes about you because they have made it about you. And now I kind of want to move into that, just how you felt as a partner and having to deal with that and what that did to your self-esteem, what that did to your confidence, what that did to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Man, you know, honestly, it really was definitely mind blowing. I coming out of the situation, I was confused. I was confused because I didn't even think that, just to be honest, a person like me could even be abused. I was like, how did I get abused? Like, what? That can't happen to me, because I'm usually the person that tell people to leave. Why am I staying? And a lot of the times you can't really even explain why you stay. There's so many different manipulation tactics and different things that they use to kind of keep you exactly where they want you to be. What you said was so powerful when you said that, you know, they have this hold on you. And that's true. It really is true. It's called trauma bonding. In my research, that was one of the main things that I researched, that I could not for the life of me understand why I couldn't leave this situation. But I was attached to this individual because I was searching for validation from that individual. I was looking for him to make me build me up. But what I wasn't realizing was that he was building me up to knock me back down and to belittle me and put me back in my place. So there were a lot of times where, you know, I was confused. I was angry a lot of the time at myself as a person, as a mother, mad that I even exposed, you know, anyone to my child. You know, I was thinking, you know, I was also angry with him at one point, just very mad that, you know, that I couldn't believe that someone that I thought, you know, that loved me, who said he loved me, said he wanted to marry me, didn't show me that. And then toward the end, it was a lot of character assassination on my part, to my friends, to my family. So I was humiliated at one point, completely knocked down, to the point where I was driven into a depression and a state of confusion and a state of just feeling like, you know, I was beneath him. Like I wasn't good enough for him.
Yeah.
And it hurt. It was one of the hardest things I have ever had to go through, for sure. What I took from that, what I say all the time is, you know, it's always a sense of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It's never gonna fit, and right. You feel it from the beginning. So, and that I went back and I dove into that research, and it helped me pull me out of that state, because I did not really understand what it was. And once I understood what it was, it's dangerous for a narcissist to meet an educated empath. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that.
You better talk about it, okay? Because when you find that power and you take it back, they don't know what to do with it.
Honey,
and it becomes something completely different for them, you know. And speaking to that, and for those of you out there that have been in this situation, or for those of you that have loved ones that are dealing with this, it tends to be seen from the outside in first, you know, because when you're in it, you're in it. And it's hard to see because of the smoke screen. What's that old saying that people say? You can't see the forest because of the trees, or something like that. Like,
yeah.
The bigger picture. You can't see the bigger picture because of everything that's happening right here. And this will kind of tie us into the next piece of just finding that support in the whole healing process. Listen, guys, when someone is in a relationship, we have to stay away from the terms of move on. Let it go. Why just leave them? What are you doing? Why do you keep taking them back? Hey, they don't see it. They don't hear you. They don't understand why you're upset, okay? Because at the point, they have internalized that as them being the problem. So
Right.
someone who's in an abusive situation is now trying to figure out how they can fix it. How can I fix me to make this person happy? How can I fix this situation? And I hear all the time when people are in these relationships and they're like, well, she's stupid. Why she keep going back to that? Or that's
Yes.
terrible. Hey, we can't make them feel worse than they already feel because they're in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, there it is. Can't see the forest through the trees. Yes.
There we go. Thank you.
Somebody knew what I was talking about. So yeah, when you think about just when you moved into this place of empowerment, and I love you dropping these terms. I'm so happy that you did this research, honey, because it's important.
It's so important.
No, it's important to understand why you feel the way you feel and the things that you're going through. So as you're doing this research and you're just kind of trying to figure out like how important was it to you to have that understanding from your friends, to have that understanding from your family? Because like you were saying, they will reach out to your friends and your family to try and add this facade that you're just this terrible person that is keeping them down. So as you're trying to gain that support from your loved ones and you're trying to pull yourself up out of this hole, like talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. It was a long road with me and my friends. I honestly have to be completely honest. My family is just now finding out what I really went through. My friends kind of was going through it with me. And it was exhausting for them. It was an exhausting experience for them. You can attest to that because you were one of my friends that was in the trenches with me. Some were better than others. All were supportive at one point. But when it started to get to a point where, like you said, they're like, well, why are you not letting go? What's going on? Why you ain't leave yet? What's happening? Move on. Stop dealing with this person. It started to get exhausting. And some friends were like, look, I don't even want to hear it anymore. And some friends were like, I would never tell you that. However, I want the best for you and I want you to leave. All of them said they want the best for me and they wanted to leave. The most important thing for me was for my friends to understand that it wasn't something that I was trying to inflict on myself. It was something that I didn't even really understand. And I think as it got toward the end, it was empowering because as I was doing my research, I got my girls sending me articles and I got my girls sending me videos and I got my family sending me things and then every time I found something, I shared it with the ones because I wasn't the only friend that was going through it. And so I was sending stuff to them as well. Like, girl, look at this. Trauma bonding, love bombing was another big term where, when they come back, trust me, because when you're trying to leave, you don't get to leave gracefully. You don't get to leave on your own accord. You have to be I'm not going to use the term I'm thinking about, but the word I will use is you don't get to bow out gracefully. You have to, yes, you cannot do that. You can't leave until they say it's time to leave. And it's difficult because you want to leave, you want to run, but they suck you back in with various tactics. One of the tactics could be, I'm gonna hurt myself if you leave me. I'm going to I'm not going to be able to live without you. No one will love you the way I will love you. And you internalize all of that. So it was really important during my research and my support process. It was really important for me to understand it within myself first. And then I was sharing the information. And as I'm sharing the information, my friends were also like, wow, this is crazy that this is even happening. And it got to a point, honestly, Nene, where we was able to predict every movement as the research was happening. I mean, it was like textbook, and it was really mind blowing. To this day, I'm very grateful for everyone that supported me through that process. It was not an easy process. It was very difficult. But when I started to do the research, that's when the self-healing and the self-love started. And man, it's a great feeling. It is really a great feeling.
Yes, that's beautiful. Um, Something I want to tell listeners as we're doing is really pay attention to the way that you, if you find yourself in one of these hurtful relationships or connections. And it can look like this with not even, like I was saying, not even intimate partners. It can be your parents. It can be sisters, brothers, cousins. It can be your friends. You can find yourself in an emotionally abusive relationship with your best friend, your homegirl, whoever. Maybe you knew her for a long time, so you can't really cut the ties, or using that guilty, like, oh, we've been through so much together. How you gone? All of that stuff. Like, if you feel this happening, pay attention to the way that you feel, because this can definitely lead to big time depression. Big time depression.
For sure.
And that's a whole nother situation to deal with on top of the abuse. So
Sure.
you find yourself looking into a dark space as you're combating this whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I felt extremely alone at times. And because like I said, there wasn't a safe place for me to go. And I started to doubt myself a lot. I started to look at myself in the mirror and be like, am I beautiful? Am I really worthy of being in a marriage one day? I got to a point where I was completely broken down, and I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't, I literally only got up to make sure my son was okay and to make sure he was fed. But even then I couldn't fully give my 100% to him because I was not mentally in the right place. And so it was definitely a dark, dark place for me. And I'm a very religious person. So I took it to God. I also took it to, like I said, that research, man, that research was on point. And a friend of mine also recommended that I go to a support group. That helped me probably, I would say, 10 times, because I was able to identify terms that I did not know about, and recognize these things and recognize that I wasn't alone. I thought I was alone, but I actually went on Facebook, and there is a great support group that I encourage anyone that's going through this to look into. It is Women for Narcissistic Abuse. That support group is excellent because it really allows you to dive in and see how other women are dealing with the same exact thing. Not just, my situation was 5 years. You got women in there, 40 years of narcissistic abuse, 25 years of narcissistic abuse, have children with the person that they're with. So and the abuse was tied to other forms of abuse, physical abuse, so it was definitely eye-opening, and that helped me a lot with my journey, for sure.
And I thank God that they never put their hands on you.
Yes.
Because that would be a whole other situation. But most times you're absolutely correct. If someone is emotionally or mentally abusive, it normally doesn't stop there. You find yourself in a whole world of trouble. Once one door is open and they know that they can manipulate you and you're there and they've got you in their grasp, that it's going to snowball, it's going to grow, and it's going to become something completely different. And something I also want to tell you, themselves in, whether it is emotionally, mentally, physically abusive relationship, do not feel like you're. There are so many people that are quiet about the things that they go through because they feel like no one will understand. If I talk about this, they're not gonna get it. I just gotta, what I heard one of my clients say, I just gotta put my big girl panties on and deal with life, because like you said, at this point she's been in this situation for years, she has kids, it's all this other stuff, and it's like, no, that is not something you put your big girl panties on about. That is not something that you have to go through alone. No. Any type of emotional or mental attack that you're under, you don't have to do that alone. I'm always going to advocate going to therapy. Number one, because I'm a therapist, but number two, because I know that it works. I'm a therapist who has a therapist. You need somebody to process life with. That is who we are as humans. We have
Yes.
to go to these situations with outside looking in because can't see the forest through the trees most of the time.
Exactly.
Being able to vent, talk about, and then you'll start to learn, and then that's where you grow as a person, and that's where the real healing
Healing
begins.
begins. Yes.
Supportive connection with someone. So get a therapist. Talk to a close friend that you trust or a close family member that you trust. Never feel like you're alone. And that goes for anything. I don't even care if it's a situation where, say, you're not being abused, you're single as hell, right? But you're in these moments where you have these highs, they're very high. You have these lows, they're very low, and you can't figure life out. And you're frustrated, and you find yourself crying, and you're lacking motivation. You can't put yourself out of bed. Hey, talk to somebody.
Yes.
Research. Why am I feeling like this? Google is can be the devil sometimes, but knowledge is out there and it can point you in the right
Yes.
direction. And the more that you learn, somebody said it in the comments, knowledge is power. It really is. If you don't
Really
feel
is.
yourself, and that's the whole point of these conversations this month, pay attention to the way that you feel. Pay attention to the way that your mind is working and the way that you're thinking and processing life. Because if you don't feel okay and you know that something is off and this is not your normal, read. Reach out to someone. Check on yourself. Put yourself first. You have to put yourself first, guys, and really make sure that you're in a good space because if nobody else tells you, they need you to survive. I need you to be here and I need you to be okay. So, hey, support, get a therapist, join these
Yes.
groups. Like there's people out there that understand exactly what you're going through and they can help you get through that moment together. And I'm gonna get
Yes. Yes.
off in regards to that.
No,
But it's
no, that if I could just piggyback off of that real quick, I agree with that 110%. I can honestly say therapy is amazing. It is not a detriment. It is not something that you should feel ashamed about. Getting your mental health in order is so, so important because if your mind isn't right, the rest of your body is not going to be able to function. So I have to second that, third that, fourth that. You go get a therapist. That was the best thing I could say. One of the best things that I did in this self-healing journey. My therapist was able to help reprogram my mind and realize that, these people, these individuals who are trying to define you are not credible sources. They are not people that really are truly one with themselves, that they can understand how to truly build you up. You have to build yourself up first. So go ahead and do that, sis, bruh, whoever going through this, do it. Go get yourself right first and love yourself first. And I guarantee it will change your entire mindset for sure.
and if you don't know, girl, I'm always willing to be that here. If you need a therapist, hit me up. If you need some help getting pointed in the right direction, hit me up. Like I'm so for mental health and so for betterment of self and so for just feeling like the best version of you because as Summer so beautifully stated, it starts here. And if you're not all together here, the rest of it is not going to fall in place the way that it needs to. And you wonder why life seems so cluttered and life seems so hard and life is hard, and things do happen, but it don't gotta be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like take care of yourselves truly. And get yourself a therapist for sure.
Yes.
I kind of want to move into just the aftermath, the healing process, and rebuilding yourself. Something that I do with my clients who are fresh out of abusive relationships is I have a mirror in my office and I will stand them in front of the mirror and have them talk to themselves. And, I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I deserve happiness. I deserve joy. I'm a great mother. All things that they may not in the moment believe about themselves because they've been torn down and ripped to shreds about in their past situation. We're just going to reaffirm that all these things are you. And even if you feel like it's not you right now, we got to get there because there's so much power behind building yourself up when someone else has torn you down. Being able to take back that control, being able to take back that power and say, hey, I'm not going to stand on this for forever because I'm better than that. Let me adjust my crown. Let me get this together and I got this. So can you just speak to the importance and the journey that it has been of rebuilding yourself, trusting again, getting to a place where you're open to dating again? Because let's just be honest, if you're a single woman or even a single man and you've come out of an abusive relationship, you pump the brakes on a lot of situations because you're like, I cannot go through that again. I don't want it. I don't trust it. But let's just be honest again. And I'll say we are meant to have a partner and partners in this whole human experience. So getting back to a space where I want to be around people again. I'm okay with letting people in my circle. I don't have to have this guard up. Speak to that a little bit.
Oh man. Wow. Yeah. Honestly, I'm still healing. I'm still healing. I will say this. I think the hardest part for me was getting to a point where I can trust again. I lost a lot of faith in humanity. I lost a lot of faith in good people. I didn't even know how to recognize a good person after the situation because I thought I was in a situation where I was with a good person. And I'm not saying they're not. It was just they weren't good for me. So it took a long time. It took me a while to really take a step back. One, I had to get to a point where I recognized that something wasn't right. That was step one. Something wasn't right within myself. And I had to figure out why that was. So trusting my own instincts, going to therapy, watching, sitting back and really watching people and slowing down. Like don't feel like you're in a rush to get to your next place in life. I think a lot of us, especially in our early 30s, we feel like, especially women, we feel like, we got to get married tomorrow. We got to be married. If I'm not married, something is wrong with me. What is wrong with me? Why am I not getting married? Why won't he marry me? What's wrong? Can I do something different? Maybe I should go get my breasts done. Maybe I should go get my butt done. Maybe I should get my face done. You question so much stuff about yourself. Just take a deep breath and slow down. Your journey is not like anyone else's journey, and you have to be okay with your journey. So when I realized that I had to be okay with the fact that maybe right now, I won't be married, but I took a look around at all of the blessings that were in my life. I had good friends. I had good support. I had a beautiful child that loved me to death. And I had accomplished so many things in my short term on this earth that you realize, maybe my life's not that bad, So you take a look at that and you really have to reassess what's going on in your situation. And then, like Nay said, again, we're going to keep repeating it. Go to therapy.
Hello.
Go to therapy. In my self-love journey, honestly, because I had so much self-doubt, I didn't even know that my self-esteem was as torn down as it was after that situation until I started to heal. I started to recognize things that I would have never paid attention to with early on in dating because I felt like I was in a hurry. I had to get this done. This has to happen so that I can get to the next level in my life. Once I slowed down, and my therapy was a testament to that. What she did was I like this tactic. She had me write down a list of what I wanted in a man, wrote everything I wanted in a man. And then in our next therapy session, she came back and she said, all right, now let's apply this to your friends and family. It was a shock. It was a shock because once you sit down and you look at your list, you're looking at honesty, loyalty, financial stability, attractiveness, and you apply that to the people that are already in your life, you're like, well, I already have that in my life. Everybody is real nice looking that I know and financially stable. Okay. Financially stable and honest, loyal, caring, compassionate. Anything that you feel is important to you, I want to share that with you because when I tell you, once I started doing that and applying that to my life, you don't just see a man or the light at the tunnel. You see people, you see good people. And then once you're able to recognize a good person, your approach to dating can be so much differently. So I said all that to say my approach to dating now is I take my time. I'm not in a rush. I am looking to meet someone that is just a good person at the end of the day. And you're not going to know that in the first few weeks talking to someone. You have to really sit down and assess and just pay attention. And trust me, narcissistic abuse, narcissism, they are going to show early. So you just take your time, sis. You're going to see it. Take your time, bruh. You're going to see it. So I definitely feel like once I was able to do that, I was able to realize some things about myself that I didn't know. And I have to really say I did exactly what you said do. Look in the mirror and remind myself that I was beautiful. Remind myself that I'm a good mom. Remind myself that I'm amazing at the end of the day. And once you start telling yourself that, and so are you. Once you start telling yourself that, man, like I said, it feels good here. It really does.
I love it. I love it. And you said some really good, oh man, you said some really good stuff. I love that tactic that your therapist used, and I'm going to steal that. Tell sis I'm taking that. Because that is the main piece, just really restoring that understanding that there are good people and that your life is blessed already outside of this other human being. And I have told people, not specifically that, but my tactic is to tell them to look for yourself in other people. Look for yourself in the people around you. Are they encouraging? Are they loyal? Are they honest? Do they love? Are they, reliable? If you are these things, and weed out the toxicity. I can never say that word right. For the people who are not reciprocating who you are, you should be able to look at your friends and see a mirror image. When I look at my friends, I see beautiful professional women that love, that are smart and educated. They're cultured, they're honest. They're there. They are, my friends is thebomb.com, period. Okay. Across the board. I have some really amazing people in my life. And I challenge everybody that I meet that is struggling with just understanding the people around them and why they're being hurt and why they're being let down and why they're being abused. I challenge you to find yourself in the people around you. And if you can't find you, they don't need to be around you. Because you're not going to get that love in return. You're not going to get poured into. We pour and we pour and we pour, and we don't have people pouring back into us because we're empty,
Ooh, powerful. That was powerful.
Speak about it because I've been there. You know what I mean? So it really is so refreshing to take a step back and be like, let me figure this thing out with me, and then I can see what's what. And when you get to a place where, like you said, I love that, not rushing. And somebody else said in the comments, run your own race. Society has a time clock on us, especially women, that we feel like we get to a certain age, we're ready to pop out some kids, we're ready to be somebody's wife. And if we're not there yet, well, what's wrong with me? We start to question who we are. And I could say maybe like last year sometime, I got to a place where I was like, forget these men. I don't want nothing to do with none of them. You know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about it. I'm about to live my best life. I'm about to be outside. I'm about to get this bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do me, And when you start to just kind of put out in the atmosphere that I'm okay. I got this. I'm good. I'm secure. I love me. Self-love is so important. Taking care of you, and all of a sudden, greatness appears.
Yes.
But you're putting greatness out, so greatness is coming back. And it's like, oh, well, where have you been all my life? And when you least and when you least expect it, there'll be, a ram in the bush, Lord.
Yes.
Just get to this place, but it starts here. It starts with you understanding and feeling your best, period, self-love, taking care of you. That's where it starts. And you can pick it up again, even in a situation where your partner has knocked you down time and time again. And that's beautiful. I am proud of you, my friend, in your
Thank
journey.
you.
I
Thank
am
you.
so happy to see this glow because there is a glow now. I'm
Thank you.
so happy to have these updated conversations with you to to actually see that there has been change and there's been progress.
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
just want to encourage anybody that's out here watching, listening, or if you know someone in this conversation, love on your friends, no matter what they're going through, because that may be what they need to learn to love on themselves. Be there for them. You don't have to understand what they're going through. You don't have to feel like you know what's what. Stop telling people what to do. One
Yeah.
thing about it is if you love your friend, love your friend.
Yeah.
Give them the knowledge that you have as far as focusing on them and pulling themselves up again, but don't beat them down in the process because hey,
Mm.
they down enough already.
Right.
So I just want to do like a little recap, for this last 10 minutes, wrap it all, pull it all together. Anybody got any questions? Go ahead and drop them in the comments. I love the empowerment that's happening here in the comments. They are all here for it, and I'm here for it as well.
Yes. Art.
Right. Well, yeah. So just a recap: abusive, mentally and emotionally in your relationships, whether that is an intimate partner, family member, or a friend. Recognizing the signs. We talked a little bit about gaslighting. We talked a little bit about jealousy streaks. We talked a little bit about outbursts, overly angry, pulling your family and friends in, smearing your
Character
character.
assassination. Yes.
All of these things are big red flags when it comes to narcissistic behaviors, making you feel small, making you feel inferior, making you feel like you are the problem, blaming, making you feel guilty. Summer dropped some great terms in regards to this as well because my girl did her research. Go ahead, because you said something one of them that I don't even remember, and I didn't know this term, and I'm trying to remember, and I can't even remember what you said, but
The
I remember
trauma bonding. Was it the
yes,
trauma bonding? Okay.
yes, trauma bonding. We talked about we talked about trauma bonding. What else did we talk about, girl? Just in regard
Loving love
to
bombing. Yes, love bombing. Watch their temperament. Trust, like Nate said, trust your instincts. Looks, if it doesn't feel right, most of the time it's not right. Don't allow someone else to change how you feel and your perception of what something is. If you feel it, there's a reason why you're feeling it. Trust that. Go with that. And just continue to pay attention. Don't ever doubt yourself. And like I said, if you are ever in a situation where you feel like you are in an abusive relationship or marriage or friendship or just have an abusive parent, research, research, research. Do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Look into it. It is knowledge. There's knowledge and there's power in knowledge, and I can't encourage that enough. And at the end of the day, love yourself. Love yourself. Dress up. Look in the mirror. If you like makeup, you like weave, you like whatever, you like to get your nails done, do that. Dress up, man. If you want to be in a suit today, if you want to be in a new car tomorrow, hey, do your thing. Just do these things to make you feel better and empower yourself in whatever way, shape, or form that resonates with you for sure.
and reach out. We talked about understanding of what's going on. Never feel like you're by yourself. Listen to me, and I say this all the time to my clients, and I say this all the time to my friends. Whatever you feeling in your life, whatever emotion that you have, you're not the first person to feel that way, and you will not be the last person to feel that way. So
Man.
talk to someone. You are not alone. You do not have to go through this stuff by yourself. Get a therapist, reach out to support groups, research what's happening, how you're feeling, find other people. There's so many support groups for so many different things, and and every time I kind of just browse them just because as a therapist, I like to know resources, and I'll read through some of the comments on these boards, and I'm just like, every couple of ones you'll hear someone, or not hear, but read someone say, I can't believe other people are relating to this. I didn't know so many other people could relate. I had no idea that this was a real thing. Hey, any feeling that you have negative, unexplainable confusion, there's somebody else out there that has been there, is there now, or will be there later. And so just finding that support and working on your healing, truly getting to a space where you're understanding what's happening to you and what needs to take place to get to the other side of that, because there is so beautiful over there. It's
It
so
really
beautiful.
is. It really
Um,
is.
what else did we talk about? Just standing on your own and really getting to a place where you're trusting and you're trusting yourself and you're trusting
Yes.
humanity. My girl said she was giving up on humanity,
I
honey.
gave up on humanity, girl. I was like, woo. I'm
Like
the
it
only
ain't
good person left. I was like,
ain't no good people nowhere. All of you are trash. But no, like it will deplete your understanding of what it is to be a good person. And Summer gave a great tip. Write out this list of what you need or what you want, and then apply that to the people in your life.
yes.
I gave you the tip. Find yourself in the people around you. Really find your mirror images. And I'm not even talking about when you're dating someone, but just anybody that you let into your space. Hey,
Yes.
what are you going to do for me? And I don't mean that in a monetary way or financially, or I need you to feed me in here, or you got to go. And
Exactly.
so I challenge everybody to do that. Find those people that feed you in here, and the rest will fall into place. And it's so beautiful. Get
It
to a
is.
space where you're okay being by yourself. You love you. Talk
Yes.
about self-love is so important. It's like the biggest piece of taking care of yourself is loving yourself. Nobody is going to love you the way that you love you. And we teach people how to love us. So
Right.
if you're not good with loving yourself, other people are going to come and misuse
Exactly.
you, So
And remember that you don't have to be in any situation where you are uncomfortable. Love is not uncomfortable. Love is not painful. It is not supposed to hurt.
yeah,
So if you are ever in a situation where you are in pain and this person keeps telling you they loving you, that is not love. And recognize that. And that is step number one with really, really starting your self-healing journey. Because once you realize that this is not love, you are able to truly take a step back and really figure out how to love and love, and that starts with you for sure.
thanks. Um, I want everybody to get to a place where they don't have to go through hurt to get to this space, and everybody's gone through things in their lives, but it don't got to be like this. And I really want people to recognize what that looks like and what that feels like. Awareness to know before they even get to that space so that they can stop it in its tracks. Not today, Satan, because you're gonna be great. But it's definitely empowering because when you come on the other side of that, and I'm speaking from experience, guys, you know the signs, you know what to look for, and you will fight like hell to make sure that you're never in that space again. You can attest to that. You won't get me. You won't get me, okay? But
Not I, said the cat. Not
hello.
I.
I am so proud of you, friend. I'm so happy. I am so proud of you in this moment for coming on here and just really being your authentic self and speaking your truth. And you did it like a champ. And I am just, this is great. This was a great way to end this month's segment of Mental Health Awareness Month, and my Mayflowers segment. Like, this was dope, and I definitely appreciate you. I love you so much. You are
Yes.
you are beautiful. You are smart. You are a great mom. You are just, I'm just so happy that you're in this.
I love you
I'm
too.
so proud of this moment right now, girl. Because listen, all
It was
right,
a long
we
road. It was a long road, people. Just so y'all know, this was a long road. Okay. So
right.
thank you, Nene. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for letting me be on your podcast. This is amazing. I appreciate you for letting me share my story. This was great. And I'm so excited. I'm so full right now. It's so
Yes.
amazing.
amazing. Okay. All right. So, guys, this has been another episode of As Told by Nay, the podcast. Y'all come back week to week and hold it down for your girl. I definitely appreciate you guys. Next month, whole new set of lineup. We got a whole nother segment of stuff. So I'll catch you on the flip side. Same place, same time. Next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. As Told by Nay. Let's talk about it. All right, Sommer.